Here we go again with a new video. What is gonna be about how to know if it's a fungal infection or the green nail syndrome. So a good while ago, I put up a video about the green nail syndrome and I explained everything in that video. And somebody was asking a question, how to know if it's a fungal infection or a green nail syndrome. And it's funny enough because I was thinking about this whole thing because I realized like a lot of nail technician wouldn't know which one is which and how to separate them and make a difference between them. So let's get into this. Before I jump in, I would need some explanation, so I'm going to show you, and it's really easy to separate and know which one is which one. Okay, so I'm going to get my whiteboard and I explain everything. Okay, so here we are. I know it looks a little bit weird. I'm going to explain everything, and I know the camera is going to flip it, but I explain everything and draw more so you're going to get it. So this is going to be the green nail syndrome, and this is going to be the fungus. So as you can see, I draw two really ugly fingernail from the side view. Okay, this is the natural nail plate, okay? This is here. So if we're talking about the green nail syndrome, first of all, we're gonna do a nail. It doesn't matter if it's acrylic nail extension, using tips, using forms, acrygel, polygel, hardener, gel polish, whatever it is. We're gonna put product on the top of the nail. I know it looks ugly, but it doesn't matter now because I now just wanna explain what's the crack. So we put on the product and this beautiful client has a beautiful nail. And for a certain reason, what I mentioned in the previous videos, this nail is gonna overbend, or she hits her finger or nail into something, and there's gonna be a thing what happening, like the product is gonna overbend and pop off or crack. So it's basically gonna separate from the nail plate, and I'm gonna draw it, try to draw it a certain way. So here is the top of the natural nail, and the product is gonna pop off. Not the whole surface, but some of the surface. So if I want to explain it like that, this is the finger, and the client hits her finger somewhere, and there's gonna be a crack on the product. So basically there's gonna be a hole between, so this is the space, okay? There's gonna be space between the natural nail bed and the nail plate. And if there's a crack, there's a little place where the water, the dirt, the everything can go between the nail plate and the product. So basically the green nail syndrome, and listen really closely now, the green nail syndrome can only happen on the surface of the natural nail plate, because it happens between the product, so it goes under the product and on the surface of the natural nail. So for example, I have my nail here, and if I crack it here, and I have a little bit of hole between the product and my natural nail plate, when I do the dishes, wash my hand, and doing my like everyday life, the water would be able to go underneath the product, and I don't see it because I cover it with my gel polish, so it's unseen, and the water basically doesn't have a chance to dry out because first of all, I don't see it. Second of all, it's just not possible to dry it out. So that's the problem most of the time, that the client doesn't even know that they have a hole between the natural nail and the product what they put on because they hit their hand. So that's the first problem with this. So the green nail syndrome only happens on the surface of the nail plate because the water would stuck between the product and the surface of the nail plate. So the nail, the green nail only can happen on the surface, okay? Always on the surface. So now let's go to the fungal infection. It's gonna be different. So the fungal infection is, I'm gonna do an extension on this, but let me see, it's a really ugly one. So this is like an extension what I done on the client. But the thing is that the fungal infection is different because it is happening under the nail plate, okay? So the fungal infection goes between the nail bed and the nail plate. That's the huge difference. The fungus needs an environment that is alive, okay? I don't know how many men are watching my videos, but like us girls, if we're talking about when we have that thing, you know, down there, what do we need to have a fungal infection? Warm environment, which is wet or can be wet, and it's dark. Just try to imagine, like, a lot of people would have more fungal infection on their toes because we put on socks, we wear shoes and these kind of stuff. So basically all the criteria we can provide for a fungal infection, which is hot, dark, and wet. So the fungal infection is always gonna go underneath the nail plate. So the fungal infection goes between the nail plate and the nail bed because the nail plate is dead. And the fungal infection cannot happen on the surface of the nail plate because the fungal infection would not have anything to eat. Because the fungal infection eats and they need like an alive tissue, which is the nail bed. The nail bed is alive. So the nail bed, which is underneath my nail plate, there is a nerve system in it, there is blood circulation in it, veins in it, and everything. This is what the fungal infection needs. They want to eat and they need something alive. And that's why the fungal infection cannot happen on the surface of the nail plate because the nail plate is dead. And if you want to go more further with the fungal infection, I would need to show you something else quickly. So the big difference is green nail syndrome happens on the surface of the nail plate between the product, and the fungal infection happens between the nail plate, so under the dead natural nail plate and the nail bed, okay? And now the other thing, what is gonna really important to know about the fungal infection. So this is a finger from this side, and I just realized you cannot see, so I bring it down. Okay, so this is a normal fingernail from this view. The fungal infection is going underneath, so we know it goes between the nail plate and the nail bed. So when the fungal infection gets under the nail, the smile line would be like a really normal continuous line. But if somebody has fungal infection, the smile line is gonna be like weird looking. So it's not gonna be like an aesthetic, beautiful looking like smile line. The smile line is gonna look broken. And if you look underneath the nail from this view, you're gonna see a gap between the nail bed and the nail plate. Okay, and what you're gonna see is like usually yellow crumbs, and it's smelly. Okay, so basically that's how you know you're possibly dealing with fungal nail infection. But I really don't want to make this video really long, but there's another thing what we have to know, that there is a stuff that looks really similar to fungal infection, but it's not fungal infection. It's the psoriasis on the nails. Yes, it can happen on the skin, it can happen on the nails, but it's not that common. So in the next video, I'm going to explain what's the difference between the fungal infection and psoriasis on the nails, because they look really similar, but you have to treat them totally differently. If you find something like this and you're still unsure what is going on here, do not treat the client, because if somebody has fungal infection, we are not allowed to give a service on those nails. Yes, it can happen that they just have on only one of the nails, but never forget that fungal infection can be transferred over really easily, because the fungal infection, I show you, okay, I have this fungal infection here and I can transfer it everywhere. Like it goes from surface to surface, from skin to skin, from tool to surface, from everywhere to everywhere. So if you notice that any of your clients would have something like this, you tell them that unfortunately you are not able to make any kind of treatment on them because it's totally not allowed, and you have to you cannot tell them, but you can advise them to go to the doctors and they get treatment. And whenever the fungal infection 100% gone, you're allowed to do their nails, but as long as they are in the healing process, it's not allowed to do anything. For your own safety, first of all, and second of all, you wouldn't transfer this infection on your other clients, and it is really, really important. And the question is, how long does it take to heal a fungal infection? It depends on what stage is that infection at the moment at, but it can take months. So the thing is, what we have to understand here one more time again, green nail syndrome happens on the surface of the nail and between the product, and the fungal infection happens underneath the nail because they need an alive environment to eat from. So that's why it's going to stop between the nail bed and the natural nail plate, okay? So I really hope this video helped. If you would have any kind of other question, what you keep searching on YouTube and you cannot find, I'm happy to help you or explain. One more time, if you find this content, oh my god, I can't speak today. So if you find this content helpful, just please subscribe or like this video. You can save it for the next time if you need to watch it, and ask any kind of other question if you stuck with something. And I'm glad you watched this video, so see you in the next one. Bye bye guys.